ألا من كنت مولاه فهذا علي مولاه، اللهم وال من والاه وعاد من عاداه.
My name is Ali Abdul Rashid, and I'm originally from New York. I'm living now in Florida. I was born in Buffalo, New York, 1955, and I come from a family, a small family. Actually, both of my parents were the only child, so I didn't have like a lot of uncles and aunts, and so in that sense I had a very small family. And my parents were Christian, and my father, he was raised in the Catholic Church. My mother was raised in the Baptist Church. So I became kind of my background in growing up, for instance, was that I was born in 1955, and I think I came of age in the time of the Vietnam War. So I spent my youth watching this Vietnam War on television, the news and newsreels and these types of things. So I think that made a very big impact on my worldview, and gave me some idea about, which was beneficial for me down the road, to think about the oppressed people and all of the situations in the world, and as it relates to oppressed people. Well, I think this whole Vietnam War, it kind of showed the American kind of treachery. For instance, the major figures in the Vietnam War, for instance Ho Chi Minh, they originally were getting support from the United States, but the United States changed up on them, meaning that they couldn't, they found that they couldn't use them because they were strong nationalists in the beginning, and then they became communists. So again, the communists is, you know, communism is a red flag. So they switched, and I think one thing that was very important, that the United States was very, they were supposed to have an election, and Ho Chi Minh would have actually won this election. So they actually did not have this election, and this election actually would have unified Vietnam. And so Vietnam actually evolved into two states. So that was something which was very important in giving me a world view. But I did a lot of reading, and you know, I looked at the struggles of many different countries, you know, and many different nations. So I had, from that perspective, a good education in terms of my worldview. I had 2 brothers and 1 sister, and so my sister, unfortunately, she died in an accident. So that was a very difficult time. I think I had maybe been a Muslim a short period of time, maybe about 5 or 6 years. So that was really one of the most difficult times in my life, you know, to experience that, you know. So, so I had also a brother. He was actually my half-brother, And he grew up in New York City because my father was from New York City. So he was a kind of different personality than the rest of us, you know. So he was the one who got in trouble a lot. The fortunate thing was that he seemed to be the person that always got caught, you know, so he had a difficult life from that point of view. And then I had another brother, so this brother, this was the oldest brother, he's also deceased. So my only living brother is still living in New York. So he's my older brother, maybe about 5 years. My father wasn't really very strong, but my mother and my grandmother were very, very strong Christians. We actually, because by virtue of the fact that my father was Catholic, so we went to the Catholic Church. And so, for instance, my grandmother always blamed my mother that if they hadn't sent me to the Catholic Church, then maybe even I wouldn't have become a Muslim. So that was like, for instance, in their view, that was my downfall. They have this, what they call catechism classes in the Catholic Church. But I really didn't enjoy the Catholic Church at all. It was really kind of a spooky type of environment. Didn't enjoy it. It was very formal. And I think the Catholic Church has changed a lot since the time when I was in the Catholic Church. So they used to have this, what they call confessional. And so you will go to the priest, and you're supposed to say, you know, you say, forgive me, Father, I have sinned, so it has been such and such a time since my last confession. And then you go about telling him what sins that you have committed. I didn't like that whole system at well. Actually, I enjoyed my mother's church because it was lively, it was vibrant, so that was a totally different experience than the Catholic Church. Well, I never really talked to any minister or anything like that. I mostly got my understanding from my religion from my parents, and like my mother and my grandmother. So I think that was my religious upbringing. Meaning this idea of being religious was always something that was a part of my life, meaning that I always aspired to be conscientious and religious. So I think that that was something which I would attribute to my parents. Well, as a child, for instance, I just didn't really, things didn't click from the side of the Catholic Church. And so it wasn't really a very good experience in my view. And so I think I learned more about Christianity from my mother's church. So that gave me a better understanding. Then I had some relatives. I remember, like when I was in high school, I had a relative who was actually a Methodist. And so the Methodists, they don't believe in this Trinity. So we, on many occasions, we would sit and we would talk about this concept of the Trinity. And because, again, most of the Christians, they don't question this idea of the Trinity. But now I'm seeing someone who didn't accept this concept of the Trinity at all. So that was very kind of liberating for me, to see someone who didn't have the same view as others. So I basically went to my neighborhood school in up to junior high, and then I went to a Catholic school, which was really a very different experience, and I really even regret looking back that I even did that. And actually I didn't finish. It was actually a Jesuit school, and I don't know if you know about this Jesuit order, but they are a particular order of Catholics. Some of them in the old tradition, they used to even wear the long robes, like the, as we wear the jalabia, so they would wear the long robes and these types of things. Some of the younger these teachers, so they took a more modern view. But the really strange experience for me was that, first of all, I have to say, honestly, I never saw so many homosexuals in one place in my life. It was really a very sad thing for me. And it was very difficult for me to deal with that. And also, I didn't really fit in. There was only maybe about, I think 4 or 5 African Americans. So I really didn't feel that I really fit in that environment. And I also had a lot of problems, I was a young adult, so, one of the problems that I had was that, I'm growing a mustache, for instance, so they said that you have to shave your mustache. So I felt, I'm waiting all my life for this mustache, right? So now they're telling me that I have to give it up. So I felt that was really too much to ask. So, because I also was growing, I was only like 16 years old, but I was also starting to get hair on my chin, so I didn't mind cutting that out, but the mustache I wasn't going to give up. So that's part of a young person's identity. And so the other thing is that we had to wear a tie, a shirt and tie. So that also didn't sit very well with me. Consequently, I was in the office a lot. Well, I did. First of all, I talked with my mother about it, for instance, and I remember the day that I left, and this was actually a very sad day, because there was a rebellion in a prison in Attica, New York. So we were kind of aware of this particular prison, and because it's actually only about maybe a half-hour drive from Buffalo, this particular prison. And there was a rebellion which they called the state police in, and they put this rebellion down very brutally. So a lot of people were killed, even some of the guards were killed, and it became a very also a very tragic thing, which is kind of left an impact, this brutality from the state, actually. So it was something, on that particular day I heard the news about this uprising in Attica prison. So that was very sad, but I went on, and I just after that went to regular high school. Meaning I converted about 19. There was one young lady who was kind of attached to my family, so that was basically the exposure that I had to Islam. And she was someone who kind of guided me and warned me that what group you should be inclined toward and what group you should stay away from. So there were a lot of different groups, meaning that there was, like for instance, among African Americans, there was the Nation of Islam. There was another group who were Sunnis, and she belonged to this particular group. So she also warned me about this particular group, that their imam, for instance, she told me about this particular imam and what his shortcomings were. So she was very honest with me and very frank with me. And I think only reason that she stayed with them was because she had long ties with this particular group. And so they were kind of insulated against all these other groups. So, but eventually I went to the Ahl Sunnah. And that was, again, something which I think I probably for about 4 or 5 years, I really wasn't very solid in Islam, meaning I was kind of wavering and trying to find myself, so to speak. And then I became a little bit more practicing and became a little bit more involved in the mosque and these types of things. So actually I moved very close to the mosque, so I attended prayers and these types of things very frequently. So it became a habit for me to frequent the mosque. So I think that was the time, and so maybe that was maybe about 5 years after I converted. She actually gave me some idea about what are the fundamental principles of Islam, you know, this Tawheed and Nubuwwat and these types of things. So it introduced me to books which I could read these concepts. So, but again, these were from the perspective of Ahl Sunnah. And so from that point of view, those things weren't really different from what Shias believe, fundamentally different. There are some differences, but not fundamentally. Like I say, I was probably, at the time I was maybe about 25, I became a little bit more, I could say, solid in my practice and understanding about Islam. I wanted to learn more. And so I moved close to the masjid, walking distance from the masjid, and so I started studying there. And so I started, I had two teachers, for instance. One was teaching me recitation of Quran, and one was teaching me Arabic. And both of them were Egyptians. And so that process actually went on for probably about another 5 years, learning and studying. And so I think my introduction to the Shia faith, we were in the masjid, and Sunnis and Shias we only had one masjid at that particular time. So Sunnis and Shias, we were all in this masjid together. So one day, a Shia brother asked me that he said that we are reciting this dua of Imam Ali. And so, you know, my name, I changed my name to Ali. So I was very much impressed, more than any other person, with the personality of Imam Ali. And so, you know, when he said that this is the dua of Imam Ali, so I was wanting to see about this. And of course, at that particular time, I wasn't really very well versed in Arabic. I could read Arabic, but I couldn't understand Arabic. Okay, but I was very much impressed with these young brothers. Most of them, there was a collection of Iranis, Iraqis, and a few Lebanese. And so one of the things what I observed from them, which I didn't see from other Sunnis, was that they were very, very knowledgeable as compared to other people. Meaning that mostly the other Sunni brothers were more ritualistic. Meaning that they came and they prayed, and so for them that was the really big part of their religion, just to pray. But with the Shias, for instance, they had a deeper spiritual side, which I found refreshing, you know. And so I would, you know, listen to this Dua Komel, and you know, the Iranis in particular, they have a habit that they will cut down the lights, and you know, so that they don't feel embarrassed to cry or something like that. So that was a new experience for me, to see that type of emotional, you know, outpouring of this emotion. So that was very, have a very deep impact on me. That to see this type of emotion, because I hadn't seen it before. So other people, Sunnis, my Sunni friends, were just very straightforward, you know, very methodical about things, and there was really no emotion about religion. But I found a lot of emotion with these Shia brothers. So that was something which was very, had a very strong impact on me, and I kind of gravitated toward those brothers. Then I think what happened was, like what happened in many places, is that this Wahhabism started to surface. And for instance, there was a particular individual who came from Saudi Arabia. Like they sent many of their, they were actually trained in Saudi Arabia, so they came to work in the United States. And so once that individual came, I saw that things started to change. Meaning that, for instance, we couldn't do this Dua Kamel in the masjid anymore. Right? So we had to shift and do this in someone's home. And actually this Dua Kamel was actually one of the longest running programs that was going on in this masjid, outside of the, you know, Jamaat prayer itself. So this was one of the longest running programs which was going on at that particular time. And so that was very disturbing, that this, you know, these people, they complain about Shias. And so prior to that particular time, the issue of Sunni and Shia wasn't really important. You know, so meaning that we didn't really feel any bias or anything like that. And so the Sunni brothers didn't express any negativity towards Shias. But this is something which gradually came about. For instance, there were people who were praying with their hands down because they were from the Maliki school, for instance. So these brothers started telling these brothers, don't pray like this, you know, because you'll be mixed up with Shias, meaning that you'll be confused that you are Shias. So these weren't things which most Sunnis cared about, you know, but these things became more and more important after these Wahhabis show up. And so I saw a gradual change and change in individuals' behavior, change in the attitudes toward the Shia faith in general. So again, we had to leave this dua kamel and do it in an individual's house. So that was something which was kind of disturbing. That there was really, I mean, the reason for it, again, was just that this particular individual who came, he started to insist, because they were linked to money. Meaning, so the Saudis are always putting pressure to change things, meaning that whatever they want, they get their way. So because they're giving money, right? So they are able to influence the board and influence decisions, and because they're contributing a lot of money to the centers. So they have a lot of influence from that point of view. And so they get what they want, unfortunately. Well, I think one time I heard this, someone was making mention of this Hadith of Thaqalain. And so the people of Ahlul Sunnah, they say that this Hadith of Thaqalain are the two things, are the Quran and they say the Sunnah. So there was one brother, his name was Mahmoud, a Palestinian brother. So he told me to myself, and I don't think that he would have repeated this to other people, but he told me, because he saw that I was having some connection with the Shia brothers. So he said that this is the way that they translate it. He said, but this isn't what it means. So I said, well, what does it mean? So he said that it is not saying anything about the Sunnah. He said that it says that the two weighty things are the Quran and my Ahlul Bayt. And so that was like an eye-opener for me. You know, that first of all, I was kind of depressed that this hadith had been, which is an important hadith, had been mistranslated. And why had it been mistranslated? So, I pondered over this and thought about this and asked people about this. And so I came up with a lot of different reasons when asking different people, so that why they're saying the Sunnah instead of the Ahlul Bayt, And of course, when you ask a Sunni this question, so you get a predictable answer. And you ask a Shia the question, then you get another predictable answer. But that predictable answer is a much clearer answer, and something which is making more sense. I think, again, I started studying with Shia brothers, started studying Arabic grammar with one of the Iraqi brothers. And actually, they gave me an application to Qum. But I didn't feel I was prepared to make that shift and go to Qum, So, and then maybe about 2 years later, I heard about this school opening up in Medina. And Medina from Buffalo was about 45 miles. So for me, and we used to go to this actually, to this center, this Islamic center in Medina. And so they are the ones who actually started this hawza. And so that was a much better opportunity for me, so rather than going all, overseas and this type of thing. So I prepared myself, I talked to the individuals at the school, and they had a little problem starting up initially, But after a couple of years, they started up. Now the problem that I had was at that time I was 30 years old. Okay, so they were actually looking for much younger students. So there was a question about whether I would be accepted or not. So, but they came to the conclusion that first of all they knew me. I had been coming to this center for many years, and so based on that they accepted me. And so that was the start of Hausa life, and that was in 1985. And so I started studying. In the first year, we really didn't have it wasn't really like a Hausa. The person who had actually started the school, his vision, because he was actually from Pakistan, so his vision was basically to create a Zakir school, which I would say, meaning that you would just learn to give majalis and these types of things. You memorize some ayat of Quran, some hadith, and you sit on the minbar. So that lasted for a year. We had 3 teachers in that year. And then in the second year, my teacher came from Iran. He was actually from Pakistan. So his teacher actually came to Iran and told him in the first year that a new Hausa is opening up in Iran, and we'd like you to go and teach there. So he was actually studying, he was doing his Dars al-Kharij with Ayatollah Nasir Makarim. And so he told him, his name was Safdar Hussein Marhum. He was a person who had started probably over 40 houses in different cities in Pakistan. So he was had done a lot of work in Pakistan in establishing these houses. So my teacher told him that, okay, I just got married, and it would be very difficult for me to leave in this situation that I'm, just having been married. So his teacher said, okay. So he went back, and he came back the next year. And so in the next year now, he asked him again that you're ready to go to the United States. And he didn't really want to come to the United States, because again, he was doing Dars al-Kharij. And so coming to, it's on one hand, it's an opportunity, but on the other hand, it's the United States. And this is something new. It's something which has really never been tried before. So it wasn't really a very attractive idea to him. And so he again tried to make an excuse. And so his teacher told him that, so if you don't want to go to the United States, then we can send you to Bangladesh. So I guess Bangladesh was like going to the worst place in the world. So he gave him a choice. You go to the worst place in the world, or you can go to the second worst place, meaning America. So he said, okay, he will go to America. And so he came, and actually he was the one who set the Hausa on this right course. Meaning he established the Hausa according to the syllabus which was being used in Qom, and according to the courses and subjects which are being taught in Qom. So he's the one who actually put things in the right footing. And so I really owe everything to him. His name was Sheikh Amir Mukhtar Faizi. And he's now living in Chicago. So I graduated from, after 4 years, I graduated. And I went to Iran for a short period of time, but at that particular time I was teaching, helping Sheikh Faizi, because I hadn't learned Arabic. So I was helping him teach, and because again, we were mostly dealing with American students. And so he had some, meaning his English was pretty good, but again, he had some problems actually understanding the culture of Americans, and so I think he needed someone like myself who was familiar with American culture and who could guide him a little bit better. So anyway, I went back after about 6 months in Iran to help him continue teaching. So I continued teaching for 6 years, and the Hausa altogether lasted 10 years in Medina. No, that was actually the Hausa closed down, and so I was. While I was in the Hausa, actually, I started thinking about what I wanted to do next, because I knew that this Hausa wouldn't last forever. So I started doing some studying and training, and so I actually got an IT job. I took a course for networking, like a CNA. So I passed that test, and so I started working as a network manager. So I did that for probably about 5 or 6 years, and then I heard about this school here in Florida. My mother really didn't. I mean, she was supportive. And my grandmother, she was just kind of old school, so, and she made once a comment. I had told her that I was going to become a Muslim, so she said, "Oh, don't bother with those people are crazy." So, and again, just not knowing anything about Islam, because again, at that particular time, we're talking about, in the 80s. So Islam wasn't on the map for most people in America, and so, but I would have to say that I really didn't have any problem from my parents. At that particular time, for instance, my sister, she was deceased. My brother, shortly after that, was also deceased. So it was only my oldest brother. And he was also very receptive, and he also did a little studying about Islam himself. But then I would say overall, I didn't find any resistance from any strong resistance from any member of my family. So I was lucky in that regard. And again, also from my friends, I didn't really, maybe some friends stopped associating with me, but I didn't really, I can't really say that I lost any real important friends, because we had, for the friends which I had a really strong contact with, we maintained this contact. And, so I can't really say I lost those friends. Some I do stay in contact with, mostly the African American brothers. So for African American brothers, this issue of Sunni and Shia wasn't really strong, and it wasn't really important. So their concern was mostly about, are you a Muslim or not? Shia and Sunni wasn't really very important for them. So the issue is Islam for most of them. Now some of the other brothers, meaning Arabs and Pakistanis and these types of brothers, maybe some of them became a little bit more distant, you know. But I can't really say that I outwardly just lost friends, you know. But maybe some of them, they just kind of backed away a little bit, you know. Of course, it depends on the center. And so the most challenging thing usually is language. You know, even the center that I was in, so the people were basically Indian Pakistani. So, like for instance, the Arabs and the Iranis were a minority. So mostly the people were Urdu-speaking people. So that was probably for me, that was the most challenging thing. I didn't really, I mean, sometimes there were some issues, but I kind of learned to deal with these type of issues, you know. I mean, I didn't let these type of issues bother me. Well, the most important thing is that they should start to study, meaning and learn about Islam. So I think that when you are thinking about making this transition to Islam, you need to prepare yourself. And you prepare yourself by reading. You know, you have to, and again, the problem is, our problem as Shias is that we don't have a lot of literature compared to the people of Ahlul Sunnah. They have all of their, you know, their hadith books and these types of things in English. So we are so far behind. So this is a problem which we face, you know, as Shias, to try to bridge this gap, you know, and we are just really, meaning I was using, like for instance, the Yusuf Ali Quran, you know, for most of the time, even when I was Shia, you know. So only recently did I find a translation by a Shia author, you know. So this is the big problem that we have. And again, we want to look at our hadith and things like that, so most of these hadith are in Arabic. To study and to try to be a little bit more spiritually inclined, meaning because Islam is not just a ritualistic religion. You have to have some, you know, spirituality. So I think that's the second and most important thing, is that you have to elevate your level of spirituality. And so you have to read, you have to learn, and you have to practice. And so all of these things combined will help you to, you know, make a smoother transition. So if you leave these things out, meaning that if you don't study properly, you're not really committed to studying, or if you're not really committed to spirituality, so there will be some shortcomings in your ability to make this transition. So that's the most important thing. And I think also a person has to pay attention to language, because that's very important. You don't go anywhere in Islam without paying attention to language. So if you are, for instance, an English-speaking person, so you need to learn Arabic, you know. And if you are speaking another language, you still need to learn Arabic. So it might be easier to make a transition from a second language, you know, to Arabic, if you already have mastered like some other type of language, you know. So that maybe in those languages, maybe there is a wealth of information about Arabic. Okay, but that would be the third thing, is that you need to begin your study of Arabic, you know, and need to start thinking about it. And these are things that you have to take really very seriously. Meaning this study and this spiritualism and language. So these are three things that you won't really be very successful without paying attention to these three things. Well, I think for myself, for instance, one of the things that convinced me is just talking to Sunnis, meaning that because they have a very strong reliance on hadith. And so the big problem, they have too strong of a reliance on hadith, and at the same time they have a very weak type of logic. Okay, so meaning that they're sometimes too accepting of hadith which are clearly problematic or clearly false. Like for instance, I remember reading, of course this is narrated by our friend Abu Huraira. He says that Allah, He created man, insan, in His own image. Now, actually this is actually taken from the Bible. All right? So, and it is, from our perspective, it's totally untrue, because we don't have an image of God. All right? So, the Christian image of God is this image of Jesus. So this is their God, and again, their image of Jesus has been, you can say, literally whitewashed, meaning that Jesus was a Palestinian, and so they have made Jesus like He had just came from the middle of Europe. So a Palestinian. It says in the Bible that he had olive-colored skin and he had curly hair. And but that's not what you see in the portrait of Jesus. So they actually literally changed this, and so they made this picture of Jesus like themselves, So when they say, for instance, that okay, God made man in His own image, so this is the image which they're thinking about, and this is something which, so I can't understand, to make the long story short, I can't understand why Muslims would even accept this hadith, even if they didn't know that this is coming from the Bible. All right, so because there's no logic. So just blind reliance on hadith is something which is very dangerous, And so another hadith, for instance, like you'll see in Quran about the description for wudu. Okay, you wash the face and the hands, and you wipe the head and the feet. Okay, but Sunnis do something different. So they wash the face and the hands, and then they wipe the head and they wash the feet. So this is all based on a hadith which was narrated by the servant of Uthman. And so they observed him doing this, and they accepted this. So why did they accept this when it is clearly contradicting Quran? And Sunnis themselves, they have a hadith that if you find something contradicting the Quran, they say, throw it against the wall, meaning reject it. But why didn't they reject that? And again, that's a very important hadith, because it is actually, when you're contradicting the Quran, especially when we're talking about purification. So this is very important. So the implications of that is mind-boggling. Again, they can't find the answer in their own madhab. Okay, that was the problem which I had. In the Sunni madhab, they don't have answers to these problems. So Shias have answers to these problems. The reality is then that, of course, it's not easy for someone who is a Sunni, for instance, to make this transition. Now, because we were converts, it is easier for us to make a transition. But when you see that someone has been raised on this tradition all of their life, they have believed in this, so then it's not easy to walk away from. All right, so you don't see any conversion amongst people who were born Muslim. Okay, but a convert has a different point of view, meaning that a convert is always looking for answers. So many of the people who've been born Muslim, they already think they have an answer. They already think they know what is the solution and what is the what problems they face and what are the answers for those problems. So, but a convert is looking more for answers, always looking for answers, and that's a very good quality. That you're always searching and always looking for answers. And sometimes that is the thing that has, led most of us to change, even after we were Sunni. So this idea in our minds that there was something missing, and that caused us to keep looking, to keep searching, and to keep asking questions. So that's a very good quality, I think, that most converts have. Well, I would just like to say then that I hope that whomever listens to this and hears this video will give some serious thought about Islam, even if they are Muslim or non-Muslim, that you have to give particular thought, for instance, to your own self, your own practice of Islam, and you have to always try to improve yourself. That's the most important thing, that we can't become stagnant as Muslims. You have to always try to better and improve yourself. And so once we lose that desire to improve ourselves, then we are just like dead on this earth. And so I would always advise people that you have to study your religion, you have to practice your religion, you have to try to improve yourself, and be critical of yourself. Take a stock of your actions, look at yourself objectively as you can, and get advice from other people also, that how you can improve yourself. And that's something which is very important. You have to, you have to remain critical. You can't just be accepting that I'm doing good, okay? Because most of the time that isn't really a correct perspective. We're not really doing good, So we may think that we're doing good, but we can sometimes, with the help of shaitan, we can convince ourselves of many strange things. So my advice is that you have to struggle with Islam, and don't take it for granted, that you have to be involved and you have to work for Islam and try to change yourself and then change the people who are around you. And if you can make some progress toward those goals, then I think we all will become better Muslims.